What is up, peeps? So whether you play Fortune's Keep or Rebirth, the SMGs is the most used weapon category at the moment, just because everything is super close range and you get a couple long range engagements. In today's video, after a bunch of nerfs and buffs throughout season 4, I got for you guys the top 5 SMG loadouts to use. These include ones that got really good mobility, fast TTK, and just overall buttery smooth to use. Ladies and gentlemen, let's jump right into the setups. So for the first one is going to be the Mark 5. This is the most popular SMG at the moment, and I'm going to show you guys the best setup to run with it. So for the first one, the muzzle, I still see quite a few people using either the Mercury silencer or whatever the other silencer is, and just really stop using that. To get the best out of your Mark 5 is that it's got really good TTK. Make sure you run that recoil booster. Next up for the barrel, super important, use the Bodhi 24mm VL. This one just gives it more fire rate, and trust me, that extra TTK is significantly better than the one that beams. Next up for the optic, and this is a viewer's pick right here, but I do like running the Nightmare Model 47 on my gun. For the stock, we like using the last one, the Perfetto Asada, giving you recoil control, aiming stability, but also ADS speed. Next up for perk number 1, I saw this dude running either Frenzy, but I run Quick Fix. It's, again, don't run any of these. The most important one is still going to be Gung Ho. And again, there is nothing more overpowered than when the dude pops up right in front of you and you hit shoot and your weapon starts shooting. So Gung Ho, definitely the one to go. Next up for pick number 2, we're going to go with Quick. That gives us the sprint speed. Next up for the rear grip here, we can go ahead and choose the taped grip, which is pretty good. Now, you can definitely change this one for the polymer depending on the magazine that you choose. So here, we got 2 different choices. You can either go with the 8mm Nambo 64 round mags. It is way better than the 9mm one. But this one is really good if you want, obviously, that extra magazine and you want recoil control. But if you want to go super aggressive and you just want to have the best mobility, but not only that, you want to have a little bit extra damage on the TTK, this is the way to go. This one gives you a little better damage range, but again, this one has a significantly better mobility than these other ones. So again, it just really depends on what you want, but obviously the 36 round mag doesn't have that much ammunition. If you do run the 36 round mag, go ahead and select polymer, and if you run the other one, select taped grip. Next up for the ammunition, I like running subsonic on this one because of my recoil booster, and again, in Fortune's Keep, once you shoot everybody in the map, just basically you get third party. So I like running subsonic so you don't appear in the mini map when you shoot. Next up for the underbarrel, I like using the Carver foregrip on this one, giving you hip fire accuracy, and as well just better overall recoil control on this one. And then next one, if you just want overall good beams and good mobility and pretty good TTK, the MP40 is still a great option out there. Let me show you the setup. For this one, the muzzle, we are going to run the recoil booster again to get the best out of that TTK. For the barrel, the best one is still going to be the one that beams, which is the Snake 317mm. And now here's where things get a little bit interesting. For the optic, trust me on this one, it just feels amazing with the MP40. Try the monocular reflector, it just makes it a nice and clean. For the stock, we are going to go with the remove stock. We get hip fire accuracy and movement speed. And even though if we lose a little bit of the recoil control, we're going to counter with a couple other attachments. Next up for the perk number 1, we are going to go with steady, which gives you ADS fire movement speed. Again, like I said, this is just a really good overall movement gun. And then for the perk number 2, we're going to go with Quick, again adding more to that mobility. Rear grip, we're going to go with taped again. As you guys can see, just amazing movement on this gun. And then for the magazine, the best one is still going to be the 7.62 Gorenko round mags, still the best one in TTK and obviously recoil control. Then for the ammunition, since you can beam a little bit more with this one, I do like running lengthen, but you can go like the other one and choose subsonic. It's really up to you, but again, I like using lengthen on this gun right here. And then for the underbarrel, the Carver foregrip just feels nice, a buttery smooth with this one, and this is my best MP40 setup. Now for the third spot, I'm going to show you one that a lot of people might not have expected, and trust me, this is not one of those off-meta loadouts that feels good. There is just something about the AK-74U that feels insanely good. This is really, if you're wondering for the best sniper support weapon, this is it. This is a good SMG that is pretty good close range, but also can beam people far away. I mean, this sometimes even feels like an assault rifle. And for this one, we're just going to put max damage range on this one to extend that TTK to the max. So for the muzzle, we're going to go with the GRU suppressor. For the barrel, we're going to go for the last one. You can go either for the task force. Again, it does give us the best effective damage range. You are going to lose a little bit of that recoil. So if you want to go more beams, you can either go with the Liberator or the rifle. It's really up to you. But again, I can control the recoil, so I do want the max damage rate. So we're going to go with the task force in this one. And then we're going to add a laser, and that is going to be the Ember sighting point, giving us around 8 to 10% extra of that effective damage range, and also giving us a little bit hip fire accuracy because it's going to be a little bit slow on the draw. And then for the optic, we're going to have a nice and clean one right here with a micro flex LED. And for the Cold War weapons, I like to change my reticle, go all the way to the right, and go to this one, the green dot. It is nice and clean. No stock, no rear grip, and we are going to add a magazine, and we're going to add the 40 round speed mag. I just feel that the Spetsnaz 50 round mag, whenever you add the 50 round mag, it's just super slow. This one's pretty good, so you can run the speed mag. Is pretty good overall, but just when you run the 50 round mags, it's super slow. So this is the class setup, and trust me on this one, it is an amazing gun, chat. And this is going to be the Armaguerra, and this is going to be one of those SMGs that can actually compete with the Mark 5. There's not that many out there. The H4 Blixen is out of the picture, but the Armaguerra just has really good TTK on this one and pretty good movement. Ladies and gentlemen, let me show you the setup. And the setup I'm going to run for this one is basically going to be the best for TTK. Again, max damage, but also all the other attachments are going to be for that recoil control. So it's not going to be exceptionally good for movement, but it's just going to be a really high damage as an SMG. And for the muzzle, we're going to run the recoil booster, just like all the other ones. For the barrel, we are going to run that Bodhi 315, again, giving us that damage range and also less damage fall off at that longer range and a bullet velocity as well. Here for the optic, again, I love using that the monocular reflector, again, just feels nice and clean. For the stock, we're going to use the Perfetto Static, giving us horizontal recoil control and ADS speed. Next up for the perk number 1, again, we're going to go ahead and use Vital. This is not a perk that you find often in a lot of SMGs, but this one does have it. It increase a torso damage. So again, going for that max TTK. Next up for the perk number 2, since this is a little bit slow, we're going to go with Quick here. For the rear grip, we're going to go with Polymer. Again, we want amazing beams with this gun. Next up for the magazine, we're going to run the 9mm as 60 round mag. For the ammunition, we're going to go with the lengthened. And then for the, you can go either lengthened, but you can also probably go either subsonic or hollow point. You can go between these three, just again, depending on really what you want. And then for the underbarrel, again, the best one is still going to be that Carver foregrip. And it does take you a little bit of time to get used to that recoil because it's like a hard horizontal recoil, but once you get used to that, trust me, you can beam. And like I said, this is one of those few SMGs that really does have that really fast CTK, just like that Mark 5. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go to our last one. And our last SMG is going to be one that was super popular, and that is going to be the OTS-9. I know they nerfed it a couple times, but again, I talked at the beginning about a buttery smooth, like the smoothest experience ever. And there's just something about the OTS that it has the smoothest feelings when you move, when you hit fire, when you kill people. I don't know what it is about this gun, but it's just super good to use. Now, I am going to show you pretty different setup than a lot of people run. For this one, again, we are going to go for the max damage range. So for the muzzle, we're going to go with the GRU suppressor. For the barrel, we are going to go for the Task Force barrel. Next up for the laser, we are also going to go with the Ember sighting point, giving us the effective damage range and the hip fire. No optic on this one, no stock, no rear grip. We are going to go with the magazine, and that is going to be with the last one, obviously, the VDD 40 round mag. And then for the underbarrel, you can either go for the bruiser grip just to get like that max hip fire, but if you want to go for that extra movement, you can go for the patrol grip. I like using this a little more than the stocks. It's just my personal opinion, but yeah, again, you can choose either this one or this one depending on what you want. Ladies and gentlemen, these are my top 5 SMGs at the moment. Again, if you're using the H4 Blixen, really just don't even use it. It's now a less than average gun, in my opinion. If you really miss one of those shots while you're using the H4 Blixen, you are going to lose that gunfight. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know what is your favorite SMG at the moment. Peace out, everybody. I'll see you all in the next one.